All right, welcome into another episode of the News4JAGs podcast. Jamal St here alongside Justin Barney. Justin, another OTA in the books. The guys are out here mowing the grass. The team's back inside. This is a pretty solid one.
Man, and I have to say, the weather out here is beautiful today.
So I take it Justin likes the early morning practices.
I don't like getting up early, but I do like this weather out here today. Talked to Eli Pankel today.
Okay.
After practice, he said this weather is perfect. If they can practice every morning, it would be absolutely perfect. I don't know if Liam's going to go for that.
I think that's the cosign. Andrew Winger has made similar statements to me when I talked to him after practice. So I mean, look, you can't knock it. Most of training camps early though, and then late in the process they shift to the midday practices where they kill everyone.
Yep.
Including us. So another one under the belt. We talked to Liam Cohen a little bit after practice. The one thing that he said that really stuck out to me, I know there's been a lot of stuff about Travis Etienne online. I asked him just flat out, what have you thought about Travis Etienne? And he went into all these things that he loved about what he's seen from Travis Etienne, how he's done everything that they've asked for him to do. And he said, he wrapped it up with saying, I know there's been a lot of things out there, people saying stuff, but that's completely off base. I don't even know where that's coming from. Smoke screen or true? What, you buying it?
I think it's true. I think it's true. I don't think Liam is going to pull an Urban Meyer or Peterson and kind of throw that if it's not true. Or maybe when they're getting down to roster cuts and they're 53-man, they decide maybe like what we saw, like what we saw from Bashal Tootin or LaQuinn Allen. But I think Travis Etienne is going to be on this roster as a 53-man. He's their best option right now at running back.
He's going to be starting running back.
He's going to be starting running back.
Yeah, there's too much money. You're in the last year of that contract. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like cutting him wouldn't make financial sense at all. I know Gladstone is a crazy person a little bit, but I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't think. I'm with you. I do think he'll be on the 53-man. I think he'll be starting. I do think it could be his last year in Jacksonville, but I think he gives Jacksonville the best opportunity at running back right now with what's currently on the roster.
All right, anybody else jump out at you today?
Yeah, I've liked the receivers so far in camp, and again, you're going against air.
Yeah.
I like Travis Hunter. He's looked good. I like Eli Pankel. He's looked good. I like even the Herbert guy tight end today.
Yeah.
I like Brent Strange. He made a catch in the back end of the end zone that I thought was really good during the team drills. So it's tough to say because it's just so limited in terms of camp reps and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I just see Porter get some snaps over at center with Trevor Lawrence. So early on in camp, and you're going against air, not a lot of contact. But I like a lot of the undrafted guys. I think there's going to be a few undrafted guys not only make this roster but contribute. Again, I do think we're going to have.
My 53 had 6 on it. You starting to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit?
I think I had 5.
You're starting to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit. I might have shifted a couple of those undrafted guys a little bit because there's a few that once you kind of see them and start to, you say,
Yeah, and we did that before. We had seen.
That was sight unseen.
Yes.
That was sight unseen. Maybe we'll do this. Do it again during June before training camp, and then do one toward the end of training camp. So then we have. I think before last year we did 2. This year we might do 3. Sight unseen completely before camp, and then late in the process right before. Why don't we do that?
Yeah,
okay.
I like it.
And then that'll help us burn some time in June when we're just twiddling our thumbs.
I did see some interesting folks out here today as camp kind of gets heading towards that conclusion. We only have one more this week that's open.
Yeah.
And then the 10, 11, 12 dates, which will kind of send
those are mini camp. Yep.
Jacksonville into the offseason. Saw Joby Martin, pastor 1122. Tony Baselli, of course, was chatting with him over on the side. Tim Krause, coach at Bishop Kenny. We're out here seeing John Walford, his former quarterback there at Bishop Kenny, and also Sheriff T.K. Waters out here with a few members of JSO, so some of the area dignitaries checking in on Jack.
A lot of looky-loos. There have been a handful of college coaches that have also passed through these practices just to take a look from some varying schools along the way. One guy that I know, we didn't do a podcast after the last OTA, Cam Camper, huge play. He's bigger than I thought he was. Neither one of us had him on the 53, but he might be a guy that's worth watching, just keeping an eye on because I think he does move well. Stringer, another undrafted wide receiver. I'm pretty locked in. There's at least one UDFA at receiver that makes it. Stringer's at least practicing with the returners, which is normally a good sign for a guy to have at least that lane under his belt to compete for. So that's something I think worth noting. Anton Harrison, Darnell Savage, both not out here today. And, look, these are voluntary practices. I said that to Andrew Winger. He said these aren't voluntary. These are mandatory. But both of those guys stand out to me a little bit for not being out here because you would think that those are darn near mandatory for both of them because, Savage is competing for a job. I mean, there's no promises there. They've basically signed at least one starting safety and then drafted another. So do you want to play or not?
And you cut how many guys from last year's class?
And then you basically have said undo on last year's free agent class. Plus Anton Harrison, I mean, there's no guarantees for him either. He's been up, down, and they signed, I mean, at least 2 legitimate tackles, drafted a guy who played tackle in college. So he's no lock either. So, I mean, well, I don't want to say these are mandatory like Dewey did, but for at least those guys, you would think they're pretty mandatory.
You're voluntold.
Yeah, voluntold. I mean, do you want to play or not?
And hey, Josh Hines Allen, remember in the past, he's kind of stayed away from.
And he's here.
He's here. He stayed away from camps. I think he usually only came on Doug Peterson during that 3-day mandatory minicamp.
Yeah.
So interesting to see the veteran guys who are at these camps. Again, they're mandatory or voluntary camps, so you don't technically have to be here, but you're voluntold to be here, especially in a new coaching regime.
All right, wrap this up. One last thing. We still haven't seen Travis Hunter practice defense in person. Liam Cohen did say that after he practiced defense last week, that the DB coach said, "Hey, can we have him more?" We were just talking, so I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start trying to throw these random questions at you before we wrap up. We were talking earlier. If you had to guess now, give me a percentage of defensive snaps per game that Travis plays this fall. This is way too early, but just a guess.
I'm going to say 10%.
10%?
10% of defense.
10%, that's it?
I think he's going to be a receiver, number 2 receiver, and I do think he's going to be, a kind of guy like a Deion Sanders was. Deion's best year, I think Deion had 68 career receptions, and I think 62 of them came in 1 year, something along those lines. So I do think he's going to have that trajectory more like a Deion Sanders, but the flip of that, the inverse of that, where he's going to get the large chunk of his reps on offense. And I do think he's going to play sparingly on defense. Now, I do think this first year they'll try and get him into defensive scheme, but I don't think he's going to play, like he was at Colorado playing 115 snaps a game. I just don't see it.
Give me 40%.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Give me 40%. I am far heavier. I think you're a madman.
No,
I think it defeats the purpose of playing him on defense if I'm just going to play him on a couple of snaps.
I do think he's.
I think at that point, what's the point of jeopardizing him? What does he do for you?
I do
it's just
think
injury risk.
He gives you an opportunity in limited role. I just don't see him.
Where's the limited role? Like you can
see
package in a guy on offense and say, "You're J.J. Watt. I need you in the red zone.
Yeah.
You're big. You're strong. You push people." He's not the biggest guy.
Right.
Why do I want him on the field at the 5? So where do you package him in? If you say he's the nickel DB, then he plays 90% of the snaps.
Yeah, I don't think
if he's the dime DB, he's still playing 40%.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
If he's doing what like Julio Jones did it at times with the Falcons, then he's not even a defensive player. He's just a wide receiver you put on defense.
Give me 15 snaps a game on defense right now, early on for Travis Hunter. Maybe that grows, maybe it doesn't. I think he's going to be receiver number 2, and I do think it's the wear and tear on a guy in the NFL. Again, you look at Deion Sanders, one of the best guys to ever play in professional football, college football, anything. And his production, he wanted to do the 2 thing. He had one really exceptional year on both sides of the ball, and then after that, he basically played like that for 1.5 years of his career. And then after that, you just saw that usage go down. I think Travis probably gets on the field more as a rookie than he does the rest of his career. Because I think.
And you think 15 snaps is what is on the field more?
15 snaps.
I think you're a madman.
15 snaps defensively to begin with.
Let me put it this way: if they play him for 15 snaps defensively, at some point during the Sunday Sports Zone, I'm going to lose my mind because why is it worth the risk of injury for 15 snaps?
Get him on the field. Travis wants to play both ways. I think
he doesn't want to play 15 snaps.
He wants to do what he did in Colorado, and I don't think that's realistic.
I don't either. But I don't think 15 snaps is. Maybe we can meet in the middle. We can meet in the middle.
I was doing a story last week on this, and there was a guy, I can't remember his name. I think he was an unbelievable receiver, and he played like 115 snaps. It was unbelievable. He played on both sides of the ball, and I think that was the last time that's been done in the NFL, and these are going back to the 80s.
Fair enough.
So I think it's going to be heavy usage on offense, and I think 15 snaps a game to start on defense. Maybe that usage goes up, but I just don't. I think he's going to have to specialize at some point. I don't think it'll be this year, but I do think it'll be within the first 3 years of his career.
15 snaps a game is specialized. Like, we're already there. 15, he's already picked. That's not going. Well, he's not a dual enrolled student at that point.
From what we've seen so far, 15 snaps a game would be high considering from what we've seen him on defense, because we've seen him exactly 0.0 snaps on defense.
Fair enough.
15 is swinging for the fences right now.
All right, we'll see if training camp can shift you a little bit on that one. We'll have another one of these coming your way later on this week. The Jaguars have another OTA that's open to us on Thursday, and then we got mandatory minicamp rolling around right behind that. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you get it at, and you can head over to our Instagram page and find more content there. That's Sports4JAGs. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.